people in the past and even today that have had nosebleeds that are real bad. Some people, they can cut themselves and they bleed and bleed and bleed, and it's hard for them to get their blood to stop coming out of their body. Well, we have a plant here, and this is what we call yarrow. And this yarrow, it kind of looks like a fern. It's real soft and furry. And also, at certain points in the year, there are these stems that come up and produce these little tiny white or yellow flowers. But yarrow, many years ago, is what some of the doctors use, not all of them, but some of them, to stop bleeding. Just imagine yourself having a nosebleed, and that nose is just gushing out blood. And you're thinking, oh, I'm going to die, I can't get this blood to stop. And you are able to get to the doctor here in Washington. He might have some of this growing right by his doorstep. He gets you inside his office, steps out for a minute, comes back inside with a chunk of this. Well, guess what he's going to do with it? He's going to wad it up and stick it up in your nose. And that's how they would sometimes stop nosebleeds. Now, if you're ever out in the wild and you cut yourself and you've got a problem with your blood coming out and you don't have Band-Aids or anything like that, maybe you could find some tree sap or some clean clay and crunch this up and mix it with that substance and put it on that wound. The plant's got something in it. Now, this is a big fancy word. It's called a coagulant. It has something that helps to thicken the blood up to help stop the bleeding. So white yarrow, it would be real helpful in some circumstances. Up here we have another illustration of a plant. I don't know if you can see it from your vantage, but this right here is rosemary. Now, have you ever heard of rosemary before? I have. I know that today some people actually cook with it, but it's also been used as medicine too. But if you're cooking with it, I highly recommend using it with fish or chicken, maybe even chicken dumplings. Now, if you don't know what chicken and dumplings are and you live far away, you need to look that up or get someone to make them for you, because that's how I got to where I am today. But rosemary, it's an ancient plant that's been used for many hundreds of years as a medicine. And it's been used to help people that have nervous tension. It's helped them with headaches, migraines, all sorts of different things. So even some of the things that are in your cupboard today, maybe they could be even used as medicines as well. The last one that I'm going to talk about is something I think is very interesting. It's a beautiful plant, and there's several different varieties of this plant up too. Some people actually use it as landscaping material to make bushes with and that sort of thing. And believe it or not, some people even cook with this plant. It's called Bay Laurel. And there's something it's really, really good for. The medical term is what we would call flatulence. Now, do you know what flatulence is? Well, if you don't, I won't tell you. And I bet you've done it before. It's called tooting and pooting. Now, I'm serious. Tooting and pooting. And how can that be deadly or harmful? Well, in certain circumstances, it can be pretty scary. But if you got to tooting and pooting for a long period of time, it can make you feel really bad. Even it can start affecting some of the organs in your body. So something that we take for granted today, in the 19th century, it could be very serious. You could take the leaves from this plant, though, and make a tea out of it, and it would help to decrease that intestinal gas, making you feel better, again, possibly even saving your life. Now, as I mentioned, there's several different varieties of this, and you need to know which one to get because some of them are poisonous. As you can see today, that not all medicines came in bottles in the 19th century, but sometimes they can be found on the very ground that you're walking on. What we've been talking about today here has been totally for historical purposes only. I'm not telling y'all to go out in the woods and start chewing on bark and eating grass. Because number one, if you do go out in those woods and start doing that, and you don't know what you're doing, it can make you sick and it could even kill you. So you need to know how to identify plants, and you also need to know how to use them. Thank you for being with us today, and we hope to see you here at Historic Washington in person in the future. And I hope you've enjoyed this program. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to meet you.